Welcome to Yin Virtual Yoga. We have a really special sequence planned, and we're going to be working in this particular sequence on anxiety and stress. There's so many wonderful poses that address those things, and we all have it. We all have the noise, the stress, just in our lives. And so we're going to work on that and relax and hopefully feel fantastic afterwards. So we're going to get started. Let's go ahead and grab our bed pillow or your cushion, or perhaps it's a blanket, and just place it at the top of your mat, because we're going to start laying down. We're going to start in a Shavasana pose as we center, as we focus on our breath, and we're just going to relax. So let's go ahead and make our way onto our mat. Go ahead and lie back any way you like. We're not warmed up, so we don't need to work our core, and we're just going to relax. Try to get your shoulders to squeeze together, the shoulder blades. Get your shoulders into the mat. Perhaps you even close your eyes. This is all about relaxation tonight and feeling good. So we're going to take our hands and maybe even just make a little triangle with your hands. This is a mudra. And we're just going to place our hands in that little triangle we created right over our navel, right over the belly area. Relax the elbows onto the mat, close your eyes, and maybe you even roll your head side to side. Fully relaxing. And then we're going to begin to focus on our breath. We're going to take a deep breath in from this belly region. Breathing up through the chest and collarbone area. Maybe sip in a little more air in the back of your throat. And then try to exhale even longer through your nose. Just let it all out through your nose. Good. And that's the breath we're going to try to keep throughout tonight's practice, our Ujjayi breath. So breathing in, sipping in a little more air, and then try to make the exhale even deeper. Good. As you're taking these breaths, as you feel the body just relaxing deeper into the mat, think of an intention that you can think of tonight if your mind does start to wander. If you do start to think about those lists and any kind of stress that you might have going on later on in the week, we want to escape all of that. So maybe it is just one single word that brings you joy. Maybe it's the word joy. Maybe it's peace, kindness, love. Maybe it's just a vision, a person that you can focus your energy on so your mind doesn't begin to wander. And you can also focus on your breath. And I'll be reminding you of that throughout our practice. Just the words inhale, exhale are good to keep our mind in the present. So as we're breathing, just notice how your chest rises and falls on the mat. Feel how your skin feels, how the clothing feels against your skin. Maybe your eyes are closed. And then we're going to begin. We're going to begin going into our first pose. So we're going to take our hands and just bring them to the body side for now. And we're going to press the right foot into the mat and then press the left foot into the mat. Let's press the low back into the mat as well. Take a deep breath in through the belly. Deep exhale out. And then we're going to slide the hands so they're out into a T. And we're going to take a supine twist. Normally we do this towards the end, but we're going to start in this particular pose. So we're going to let the feet just hover right over the knees, or just hovering right over the hips. And we're going to rotate the ankles, just warming them up. and then reverse those rotations. On our next breath, breathe in. And then on your exhale, bring those knees over to the right. We're going to take our gaze over our left shoulder. And if you don't have a pillow, it's not required, but isn't it nice having this pillow just to relax and start out? So we're holding this, and we're going to be holding this. And the nice thing is you don't have to worry. I'm directing our timer here. And so all you need to do is just relax and breathe and be comfortable. And as we're holding this, think about your breath. Are you able to hear your breath in the back of your throat? It sounds a little bit like the ocean. And if you're not hearing this breath, a trick is to breathe in as though you're surprised to see somebody. And then exhale as though you're fogging up a mirror with your nose, with your nostrils. And we have about 2 more breaths here. Breathing in deeply. Exhaling fully. Breathing in. And final exhale out. Good. And we're going to come out of the supine twist and just allow the knees to hover right over the hips. And we can go ahead and rotate the ankles. It's always a nice thing to do. While we're at it, let's go ahead and spread the fingers wide and rotate the wrists. These are called counter poses. They make the actual yin poses extra nice, extra yummy. And then we're just going to let the hands relax. Maybe even tuck the shoulders together, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and we're going to take another breath in. So let's breathe in together. Inhale. And then on your exhale, let the knees fall to the left. This time, take your gaze over your right shoulder. Make sure that the shoulders are pinned to the mat, pressing down. And once again, really the only thing to think about is just your breath, maybe your intention that you set, maybe listening to the music. Think of this as your escape for the next hour. Letting go. Hearing that breath. Maybe the eyes are closed. Maybe you're just enjoying the sound and the feel of the breath. And what the breath does for the body. How miraculous it is. And we're ready to come out of this pose. So let's take one more breath, deep breath in. And then exhale, come on out of it. Let's go ahead and press the feet down into the mat and take another breath in. Another breath out. And then we're going to slide the right foot all the way down. So that leg is going to be straight. Then we're going to slide the left foot all the way down. So we're almost in the Shavasana pose, but not quite. We're going to sweep the arms over our head. Now, if you have a bed pillow or if you have a cushion, just relax the arms. They don't have to be stiff or straight. They can just bend and relax over your head. And then we're going to slide the right foot to the right corner of the mat. And it's okay if the foot comes off the mat just a little bit. Certainly fine. Then we're going to take the left foot and just place it gently over the right. So we're crossing the ankles. And then we're going to reach the hands out. And then the right hand is going to grab the left wrist. And we're just going to curve like a banana. This is called Badasana. And we're just going to think of a banana. We're just going to curve, but it shouldn't be painful. So if you have any kind of pain in the mid-back region, back off just a little bit. Not too extreme of a stretch here. And then make sure you just relax the arms, bend the elbows. The timer has already begun. Most of the work is being done for you because we brought that right leg, the right ankle out to the right side. And we crossed our left ankle over. So most of the stretch is happening automatically. So maybe your eyes are closed and you're just listening to your music and breathing. We're about halfway there. You're doing great. Keep breathing. Hearing that breath. We're going to stay for about 3 more breaths. Last breath. Great work. And then just release the hands. Just relax them. And let's bring the feet back to more of a neutral position. Maybe we press the spine and press that low back into the mat. Let's do that. Let's press that low back into the mat. Take a deep breath in. And then on the exhale, just relax. Let that natural arch come right back. Let's do one more of those. Inhale, press the low back into the mat. Exhale, the arch comes right back. Good. Then we're going to slide that left foot all the way to the left side of your mat. If the foot comes off the mat, that's perfectly fine. Let's take the right foot and then just cross it over the ankle. You can reach the hands out. You don't have to strain too much for this. And we're going to take the left hand and just grab hold of the right wrist and then take a little stretch. So think of that banana again. And then just relax, let everything go. If you need to adjust your pillow, go ahead and do that. And then just melt into this pose. Think of relaxation, think of your word, think of your breath. Breathing in. Exhaling out. Keeping that breath going. And you'll hear me guiding the breath from time to time, talking to you. And the reason I'm doing this tonight for this particular sequence is this is an ultra relaxing yin. It's very easy to fall asleep. And not that there's anything wrong with being so relaxed that you fall asleep. I just don't want you to miss out on any of the wonderful poses that we're going to be doing tonight. So we're here for about 2 more breaths. Let's breathe in deeply. Exhale fully. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. And then we're going to release the hands, release that wrist, come back to that neutral position. And let's take another little movement to where we press the low back into the mat. But let's bring the hands along the body side, and squeeze the shoulder blades in, and we're going to press the low back in, breathing in deeply. And then exhaling, let that natural arch come right back. Then on your next breath, we're going to slide the feet in towards the body. We're going to roll over onto our right side. You can stay on your pillow if you like, and then just draw the knees in. We're not going to stay here as a pose. We're just going to use this as a counter pose. So just take a deep breath in. Deep exhale out. And then we're slowly going to press ourselves up and come into a tabletop position. Now you may want to, if you do have a bolster or a pillow, you may want to move them out of the way. Let's keep the block handy because it's nice to have. And we're going to come into our tabletop. We don't really need to put a blanket here because we're not going to stay here. So we don't really need anything for our knees right now, but you can move a little bit. A counter pose if you like, just moving the hips side to side, wagging the dog's tail. And then on your next breath, we're going to walk our hands forward, one hand space. Then we're going to walk the hands forward again, and we're just going to bring the head down, press the forehead into the mat. Hips are nice and raised, and we're going to hold this. This is melting heart, and we're going to hold this pose. Once again, you don't need to worry about the timer. I'll do all of that for you. Just make sure that you're breathing. And if at any time your shoulders start to bother you, just come onto your elbows and let your elbows support your head. Just bend the elbows, and maybe you can even bring your hands together. And I'm going to go back to demoing the melting heart with the straight arms. So hearing that breath, breathing in deeply, exhaling fully. You're doing great. Breathing in, exhaling out. Your breath is traveling up your spine. And then it's traveling back down your spine. Let's take one more breath in this position. Good. And then we're going to slide up just a little bit. We're going to just bring our elbows down, relax just a little bit, but we're going to stay in this position and do a little counter pose. So when you're ready, maybe slide the hands forward just a little bit, straighten the arms, and we're going to take a little twist. So we're going to reach the right hand up towards the ceiling, slide that right hand underneath, just thread the needle right underneath the left arm, taking that little twist. Now you can stay right here if you like. You can take the left hand, wrap it behind you. If you notice that your hips are trying to veer towards the left, just bring them back towards that center line. We're not going to hold this position. It's just a counter pose. Hear your breath. And then on the next breath, we're going to come out of this. We're just going to go right back to neutral and take a nice breath in. Take a breath out. Then on the next breath, we're going to raise. Maybe you come down on the elbow, raise the left arm, and then thread that underneath. My back is going to be to you, but I'm right here with you. And we're going to thread the needle on the other side. You can take that right hand if you'd like and wrap it back behind you. And if you find that your hips are wanting to veer towards the right, just gently guide them towards that center line. And we're just going to stay for a breath, breathing in, exhaling out. Good. And then we're going to come out of this, coming back in. We're going to walk our hands back towards the body and coming back to a tabletop where we're just going to take a cat-cow. Just one, breathing in, for cow, and then exhaling for cat, drawing the chin towards the chest. Good. Next breath, we're going to sit back onto our heels, and we can take our wrists and spread the fingers, rotate the wrists a little bit, getting ready for our next pose that we are going to hold and stay in for a little bit of time. So I'm going to turn towards you. You can stay right where you are on the mat, but I'm going to turn towards you just so you can see how to set this up. We're going to be coming into a butterfly position. We've done this one before. So we're going to bring the soles of our feet together, press them together, and bring the feet out just a bit so you see a nice diamond shape that you've created. And then we're going to take our hands, maybe place them on the knees and slide the hands down towards the ankles, and then just come on down. A nice thing to have is a block. So if you want to grab a block, set that up. It's a nice thing to lean on. Maybe you even take it and put it right behind the heels, and you can just lean on it. Not everybody likes to have the block. It's just an option. If you want to just come on down, that's fine as well. If you find that this is uncomfortable to the knees, you can take a block and put one on either side. So just a couple of options, and the timer has already begun, but we are going to be holding this for a while, just demoing some of the ways to make it a little more comfortable. So gazing, taking your gaze, perhaps if you're in the position that I'm in with the blocks, just to the heels, hearing that breath, reconnecting it if you've lost it, hearing it in the back of your throat, thinking of the words, inhale, exhale, trying to feel nothing but relaxation, escaping. You're doing fantastic. We've got about 3 more breaths here. Deep breaths in. Deep breaths out. Good. And then we're slowly going to come out of this. And if you do have the blocks underneath the knees, keep them handy, because we're going to do a half butterfly. It's very similar to the dragons that we've done in the past. So we're just going to send the right leg not out to the side, but just in front of us. And then slide the left foot forward. This is our half dragon. Now there are a couple of options you can do here with your blocks. If you're a little bit tight underneath your right leg, say the hamstrings, maybe you put a block under this knee because you do want to be comfortable. And then maybe you take your other block and just support that knee. Just options that you can do, or maybe you just go straight to it. So once again, I'm timing for us. You can either sweep the arms up towards the ceiling if you like. Maybe you spread the fingers nice and wide and come on down, or just come straight down to it. Nice thing is about this pose is you really don't have to grab your ankle or your foot. A lot of people do that. It's fine if you'd like to. But what I find is if you draw the toes towards the forehead, you're going to get a nice stretch, and the body is working for you. So whichever method you prefer, if you want to grab your foot, that's fine, but just know you don't have to. And we're going to relax our head, draw the chin in towards the chest, hearing that breath. You're doing fantastic in this practice, relaxation. These poses are very restorative. So if you have any kind of a low back injury, shoulder injury, these are really, really beneficial. They help with flexibility. And then, of course, every pose that we are working on in this particular sequence is geared towards reducing stress. anxiety. We're going to stay for 2 more breaths here. Breathing in, exhaling out. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. Good, excellent work. We're going to switch to the other side now. So we're just going to set this up on the other side. Right leg's going to come in, left leg's going to come out, and just set that up. Maybe you try it without the blocks. Maybe you put the blocks there. I'll demo on this side just in case you want to use the blocks, but no, that is just an option. It is not a requirement. So we'll sit up tall, or maybe you go right straight down to it. We're going to sweep the arms up if you like. Option, maybe spread the fingers wide and then fold on over. And just notice as you're holding this pose, if it feels any different on this side than it felt on the right side. And notice if it feels different if you draw the toes in towards the forehead. If that's troublesome or bothersome, then back off of the toes and just allow them to be natural. Want to feel a little bit of a stretch, but we don't want any sharp pains or discomfort. Breathing in deeply. Exhaling fully. Almost there on this one. We're going to stay for about 3 more breaths. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Wonderful work. Go ahead and come on out of that. Let's take a little counter pose. Let's bring our legs out almost like a little M shape and take the hands and bring them back behind us. Fingertips are going to be towards that back wall. Maybe arch the back just a little bit, and then we're going to bring the knees to the right. Little windshield wipe. Exhale, take them to the left. Try to slow it down with your breath. Good. Inhale to the right. Exhale to the left. Let's do one more. Inhale to the right. Exhale to the left. Wonderful. On our next breath, we're going to come back into a position, another yin position. We can come into a tabletop, and you really have a choice. We're going to be doing a sleeping swan, which is really a pigeon pose. So you're probably very familiar with this, and you can come into it either from a tabletop or a down dog. And I'm going to demo the down dog. That's typically the way we do it. But if you want to take a few wiggles in a table first, that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, we're going to tuck the toes. We're going to lift the knees and then lift the hips, coming into our down dog. If you want to bend the knees a little bit and get the hips up a little higher, perfectly fine. And then on your next breath, we're going to raise the right leg. Maybe rotate the ankle. It's the opportunity to do that. Then we're going to bend the knee and just aim the knee for that right elbow. Drop the shin and scooch back onto the left leg. And then this is proud pigeon. You can sit up for just a bit. And then on your next breath, we're going to come on down. This is a lovely, lovely, relaxing position. You can press your forehead into the mat. Maybe even press an ear into the mat. And this particular pose, it just has so many benefits. It's great for our sequence tonight for anxiety. It also is so good for the thyroid. Has many health benefits. And this is another good pose. If you are having any discomfort in the hips, you can place a block. You can come out of the pose and try to go back into it. You might do this particular pose in some of your other classes. Sometimes we make it active and we wander the pose. We walk our hands to the right. But for yin, we try to stay still in the poses. And if you're having difficulty staying still, you can try to squeeze the left hip. Just squeeze that hip and then maybe release it. And just see if that helps you from becoming fidgety. We're holding this one just a little bit longer. Breathing in. Exhaling out. And as we hold this pose once again, if you feel the need to fidget or wiggle, just squeeze the left hip, turn it on, and then slowly release that muscle. We're going to stay for about 3 more breaths. You're doing fantastic. Last breath. Breathing in from the belly. Exhaling fully. And then we're slowly going to come out of the pose and take a few little stretches and counter poses in between. So let's go ahead and look over our left shoulder, see the foot, and try to bend that knee and maybe grab the foot with your left hand and just bend and see if you can take a little stretch in the thigh here. See if the heel will come in towards the body. Just a little stretch. And then we're going to release that, slide that leg around and come into a fire log position. And we're going to hold this position, but we're going to do some little stretches in between. So we're getting a double benefit. And you might have noticed that I took my left foot and I put it onto the right thigh. That is an option for a deeper stretch. You don't have to do that. But if that feels good to you, certainly take advantage of that. And we're going to work our shoulders and our necks while we're here. So we're going to go ahead and take our shoulders, reach them up towards our ears, roll them back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, squeeze the belly button in, and chest is nice and broad. Collarbone is full. And then let's go ahead and send our arms out, spread the fingers as wide as you can. Really nice stretch for the fingers. We use the hands so much. Next breath, we're going to squeeze the hands and the fingers together and just rotate the wrists. Breathing in. Exhaling out. And the next breath, let's spread the fingers nice and wide, spread. And then release. Excuse me. Make sure you have water. And on your next breath, we're going to sit up nice and tall. take our shoulders, roll them back. And we're going to cactus the arm on the right side. Place the fingertips on the left. And reach the hand over. Take a stretch. Next breath. Excuse me. Excuse me. You're going to slide that hand down and then draw your nose into your armpit. Try to just hold this. And release. Let's take our shoulders, reach them up towards our ears, roll them back. Let's do the other side. Hand goes out to the side, and the left side is cactus. Reach that all the way across. Draw the left ear towards the left shoulder. Close the eyes here and relax. Then you're going to slide that hand down and maybe even give yourself a little massage here. And the next breath, draw your nose into your armpit, squeeze the belly button in. And release, good. And then let's just roll our neck out. Just roll it out. Should feel really nice. And then we have to do that pigeon on the other side. So let's go ahead and maybe we spread our hands nice and wide. And then press the hands into the mat. And remember, I'm in a different position. So we're going to come into our tabletop. Make any kind of little wiggles that you like. Rotating the spine. And then however you would like to get there, if you want to get there from a tabletop or maybe a down dog, I'm going to do the down dog just like I did the last time. So on your next breath, go ahead and tuck the toes, lift the knees, lift the hips, come all the way up, gaze to the back wall. And then we're going to raise the left leg. Maybe we rotate the ankle. It's another opportunity here. Breathing in. Exhaling out, go ahead and bend that knee and aim the knee for the left elbow. Drop it down and then scooch on back. Very nice. And you can stay in proud pigeon if you like for a little while. Nice stretch in the hips or come on down. Relaxing. Feeling the rejuvenation. Holding this, and we're going to hold this one like we did on the other side for a little bit longer. If you need to get a sip of water, I do recommend it when you're using your breath and you're really focusing and concentrating on the ujjayi breath and you're holding these poses. It is easy, even though we're not getting our heart rate up to get a little dehydrated and just need to get a little bit of water. So make sure you have water, or if you don't, make sure after your practice you do drink plenty of water and stay nice and hydrated. You're doing fantastic. Breathing in, exhaling out with that beautiful breath. We have about 3 more breaths to go here. And we're there. So we're slowly going to come out of this. And just to stay balanced, to stay consistent, we're going to this time look over our right shoulder. So just look over that shoulder, bend that knee, and reach back behind, grab that foot, pull it towards the body. My back is to you, but I'm right here with you. And then when you're ready, just come on around. And this time, instead of crossing the legs, we're going to bring the feet out. This is a forward fold position, and sometimes this seated position is a little more comfortable. Perfectly fine to take this position at any time if we're doing anything like a neck stretch or anything like that. So we're going to do a caterpillar, which is also really a forward fold. So you might want to grab a block or two. It's nice to slide it underneath the knees. And once again, you can sweep the arms up if you like, make it a little more active, or maybe you just come right to it. And we're just going to rest our head. Maybe you rest them on the knees. If that's not comfortable, you can always take another block. Try putting it right on the knees and coming on down. Maybe you rest the forehead into the block. If that's not for you, just set it aside. Maybe you don't want any blocks. That's fine too. I'm going to go ahead and demo with the block. So just holding this. No worries about the timer. No worries about anything at all. Just hear your breath. Breathing in. Exhaling out. I'm hoping you can hear my breath to guide your breath. Breathing in. Exhaling out. Beautiful breath. This particular pose is a mood lifter, mood enhancer. So if you ever having a bad day or just feeling especially anxious or stressed out, this is the one to go to. We're going to stay here for about 2 more breaths. Last one, breathing in. Exhaling out, coming out of that, feeling good. Maybe you put a smile on your face. We're going to come to another pose. We're just going to go straight to it. And it is another great pose that is for mood enhancement. So let's go ahead and come into a tabletop. We're not going to stay here. We're going to come to a child's pose, and we're going to take a wide child's pose. So we're going to bring the knees out to the edges of the mat. We're going to bring the toes together. So the big toes are going to touch. And then we're going to just send the hips back. Send the hands forward. If this is uncomfortable for your shoulders, you can always bring your hands to the side and maybe just rest an ear to the mat. Super comfortable pose. If you're not comfortable with the knees being so wide, you can also adjust and come in a little bit. So perfectly fine. Maybe you press the forehead into the mat, and we're going to hold this and just really enjoy it. Breathing in. Exhaling out. Holding this pose. And if you're pressing perhaps your right ear into the mat and your neck gets a little tired, you might switch ears. Just switch to the other side. Or maybe try pressing the forehead into the mat. Maybe even rolling the forehead side to side, getting a little massage. This is a really nice pose if you suffer from headaches. And if your arms are back behind you, like I'm demoing right now, just relax the shoulders. Just let them fall forward. There can be a little roundness in the back. Maybe your hands are straight in front of you and your chest is pressed into the mat. Lots of different options. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Deep breath in from the belly. Exhale that breath out. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. Good. We're going to send the hands forward if they're not already there, and we're going to press back up into a tabletop. And while we're in this tabletop, just take a few little wiggles. Just move the hips side to side. And then we're going to sit back onto the heels because we're going to make our way onto our back again. Now, I'm not going to demo it, but if you do want your cushion, your pillow, you can take that with you because we're going to end up in our Shavasana pose. And it is really nice for this particular sequence to have that option. So we're just going to go ahead and slide on back. We're going to actually go into a pose. We're going to come into fish pose. So we're going to come onto one elbow and then come onto another elbow. And this is our fish pose. We're not going to hold this one very long. And we're going to bring our feet out wide and just let the forehead come up towards the ceiling. Relax the neck. We're just going to stay here for maybe a breath, breathing in deeply, exhaling fully. Good. And I'm actually going to come around just to be consistent to the other side, but you're perfect where you are. We're going to come all the way back down, and maybe you do take your pillow and use that. Let me move these blocks out of the way. And then we're just going to bend the knees. Just bend the knees and press the shoulders underneath. Press that low back into the mat. Fill up that space where that arch is. And then relax. The arch is going to come back. And then press that low back into the mat with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Let that arch come back. Very good. Let's do one more of those. So good for the low back. Inhale, press the low back in, fill that space. And then exhale, let that arch come back. Good. Then we're going to take our hands and just draw the knees into our chest. And maybe we even make some movement here. This is called stirring the pot. I have my right hand on my right knee, my left hand on my left knee. My toes are touching and I'm just stirring the pot. This is an option if you want to make this an active counter pose. Otherwise, maybe you just hug the knees into the chest. We do have another pose coming up. So just do whatever feels good. Maybe you rock side to side. And if you did stir the pot, make sure you reverse those circles. Breathing in. Exhaling out. And then on your next breath, we're going to go into our next pose. Now, this pose is called Happy Baby in a lot of yoga practices, but for tonight, for this particular sequence, we're calling it Stirrup. So we're going to just hold on to our feet, close our eyes, relax. Not going to hold it for as long as we've held some of the other poses. But we are going to stay, hearing our breath, breathing in, exhaling out. Doing so great, so fantastic. Breathing in, exhale out. We're going to stay for 2 more breaths here. Last one. Beautiful. Now, just to send a little relief to our legs, let's go ahead and straighten the legs, stretch the feet. Maybe you rock a little side to side. This is a wide V. And then we're going to bring the feet together, release the hands. This is a waterfall position. So nice. And we're just going to do a few stretches here. We're going to point the toes towards the ceiling. You may feel a little stretch in your shins, maybe in your calves. And then we're going to draw the toes towards the forehead. You might feel a nice stretch up and down the legs. If it's too much, just back off a little bit. And then inhale, point the toes. Good. Exhale, draw the toes towards the forehead. Inhale, point the toes. Exhale, draw the toes towards the forehead. And then let's bend the knees, pull them in. Maybe you rock side to side here. Just a little counter pose once again. Breathing in, exhaling out. Good. We have one more to go. So we're going to straighten the legs up towards the ceiling, and we're going to send the right leg just a little closer to the body. Cross the legs over and then bend at the knees. This is shoelace. And then you might look up just a little bit from your pillow if you have that, and just grab the feet, give a little pull. Another nice thing to do, which is only an option. We sometimes neglect the feet. We don't take care of our toes, but you have an opportunity here. You can interlace your fingers in between your toes, spreading the toes out. And the thumb can maybe give a little massage to the bottom of the foot. Maybe you rock a little bit. And we're just going to hold this for a short time. Inhaling. Exhaling. Take another breath here. Inhale. Exhale. And then we're going to release the legs, come back up in that waterfall position. And let's release the hands and just close our eyes for just a moment with our breath. Try to stay here for 2 breaths. Holding this pose. This is a fantastic pose for anxiety reduction, but also reduces blood pressure and helps to circulate the blood. Lots of nice things about this pose. And then we're going to go right to the other side. So we're going to bring the left foot towards our body, cross the legs. It almost looks like an X, and then bend the knees, grab the feet. Option to interlace the fingers between the toes if you like, not required. And maybe we stay still here. You can rock a little if you like. We're not really holding this one for the full yin, just a bit of a stretch. So try to take about 2 more breaths here. Breathing in. Exhaling out. Breath travels up. Breath travels down. Beautiful. Let's release this and press the soles of the feet back down to the mat. Let's think about that low back again and just press it into the mat. And then we're going to knock the knees together and heel toe the feet all the way to the edge of the mat. Maybe your hands are just resting on our tummy. Maybe they're by our body side, whichever you prefer. Staying here for just a few more breaths. Hearing that breath, breathing in. Exhaling out. Last and final breath in this pose, breathing in. Exhaling out. Lovely. Good work. And then we're going to heel toe the feet back together. And then we're just going to press the soles of the feet together, taking a butterfly pose. You can take the hands and lightly press them onto the thighs if you like. We're not going to spend much time here. It's just really more of a recovery stretch after some of the things that we've just done. And then on your next breath, let's go ahead and just bring the hands by the body side, palms facing the ceiling. We're going to send the right leg out to the right corner of the mat. Send the left leg to the left corner of the mat. Squeeze the shoulders together. Close the eyes. Relax and soften through the face. Maybe you even move the head side to side here. If the tongue is stuck to the roof of your mouth, let it drop right into the lower palate. If your teeth have been clenched, maybe you move the jawbones side to side. And then we're just going to just relax and melt from the crown of your head to your shoulders, all the way down your arms to the tips of your fingertips. Just melt a little deeper into the mat. Then from your chest all the way to your hips, to your knees, to your ankles, tops of the feet, soles of the feet, the toes, just melt a little deeper into your mat. Let it all go. Let's take a deep breath in. Maybe a lion's breath out. Feel free to do that again. Inhale. And then let it all out through your mouth. Close your eyes and just relax. And when it's time to come out of it, I will signal. But just enjoy this Shavasana. We're going to stay here for about 4 more breaths. Beautiful work. And we're slowly going to begin to awaken the body. We're slowly going to begin to spread the fingers wide. Maybe you even wiggle the fingers just a little bit, still in Shavasana. Maybe you make a fist and rotate the wrists. Maybe you wiggle the toes, draw the knees in towards the chest and rotate the ankles. Any kind of movement. Maybe you're moving side to side. And then on your next breath, we're going to roll over to the right side. Make a little pillow for your head. Maybe you don't need to because your pillow's already there. And just draw the knees in tight. Make a little ball with your body. Take a deep breath in through the belly. And then exhale out, maybe through the mouth. Another lion's breath. And then when you're ready, gently make your way into a seated position, or maybe not. Maybe you stay in that comfortable position on your side. If you are seated, if you are up in a seated position, let's go ahead and just sweep the arms up towards the ceiling. And then Bring the palms together, bring them down to heart center. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. I hope you've enjoyed this relaxing, wonderful sequence of stress and anxiety relief. And I hope you have a great rest of your week, or beginning of your week, I should say. And we're going to go ahead and close here. Namaste.